Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Rob Dew, and today is Tuesday, June 24th, 2014, and here's a look at our top stories.
Tonight, he was a spy who risked everything to bring down top terrorists, only to become a target himself. Another CIA informant gets double-crossed. Meanwhile, the Federal Bureau of Entrapment is now targeting preppers. Staff Sergeant Joe Biggs reports. And Intel is developing a kill switch for laptops that would enable the remote monitoring and disabling of your computer. A disturbing prospect given the firm's link with the NSA. All that and more up next on the InfoWars Nightly News.
Technology is getting more fascinating each day. It's also getting a lot more creepy, especially when it comes to the big companies like Intel. Well, now they've developed a kill switch for their laptops. And here's the article by Paul Joseph Watson, Intel developing kill switch for laptops. It is widely acknowledged by experts that the NSA has hardware-level backdoors built into Intel and AMD processors. Earlier this year, during a Reddit online chat session, Intel CEO Brian Krzanich refused to answer a question on whether the NSA had backdoor access. What they develop is what they call a wireless credential exchange, wherein they create sort of a kind of a free speech zone, and if the phone leaves out of that area, well, suddenly it becomes disabled and refuses to work. And this goes back to the whole kill switch thing that happened with the iPhones back in 2008. Here's an article out of the Telegraph. Apple, Jobs confirms iPhone kill switch. Steve Jobs, Apple's chief executive, has confirmed there is a kill switch built into the iPhone that allows Apple to remotely delete malicious or inappropriate applications stored on the device. Fast forward now to 2014 in June with the Guardian article. Apple iPhone kill switch cuts thefts, and Microsoft and Google are to follow. Apple's introduction of the kill switch in its iPhone software last September has cut thefts of phones across the board, according to data from London, New York, and San Francisco, while those of other smartphones have continued to rise. And if you look at the statistics, in London, they fell by 24% in the first 5 months of 2014. And in San Francisco, they fell by 38%, and in New York by 19%. So the whole theory behind the kill switch thing is that it's going to cut down on thefts. And so we need to have these in place, even though back in, what it was 2012, Apple developed a patent which they filed to wirelessly, remotely disable cameras on iPhones and have them enter into sleep mode when they enter into sensitive areas, which is in a Paul Joseph Watson article. All new Android and Windows phones will have a kill switch. So they're following Apple in this trend. Although the kill switch would ostensibly be included to discourage theft, a scenario where authorities could hijack the technology to shut down communications in a sensitive area in order to limit photo or streaming video coverage, such as a demonstration or at the scene unfolding of police brutality, is easily to envisage. And you've seen police go and do that just on their own, grab people's iPhones, erase footage. We've had our own reporters have footage erased off of their phones when they've gone into sensitive areas, mainly just asking questions. But that is what this technology is going to be used for, especially on reporters. They'll kill iPhones, they'll kill these video streaming devices. And taking the story a little further, we have an article that appeared in September of last year. Secret 3G Intel chip gives snoops backdoor PC access. The Intel Core V Pro processor contains a secret 3G chip that allows remote disabling and backdoor access to any computer, even when it's turned off. And they even mention that in their video proudly.
Unlike software-only solutions that require PCs to be powered on and software agents running on a fully functional OS, a hardware-assisted approach enables PCs to be managed regardless of system state and without requiring software agents. The result? IT or IT service providers can diagnose and fix problems without a desk-side visit, schedule PCs to power down at night to cut energy costs, and still have the ability to power them up for off-hours patching.
So while the idea for this 3G chip was probably thought up by some, pot-bellied engineer in the back trying to make his job and life a lot easier, the NSA and other companies that have their roots stuck deep into these companies are going to use this same technology to access computers to either steal data or upload certain data that they want to have on your computer before they come and arrest you. And let's go back to the Paul Joseph Watson article, Intel developing kill switch for laptops. He writes, the idea of companies having access to a kill switch with no opt-out process takes power away from the individual and leaves the door ajar for governments to exploit such technology to target dissent, such as Turkey recently shut down Twitter in an attempt to cover up a political scandal. I couldn't agree more with that statement. And it really is scary the way this technology is being used as a double-edged sword while we use it out in the field to gather information to show you. The authorities and our public servants are using it to take information away from us and limit access. It's really scary.
The globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding, making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
The brainwashing media machine has been turned up on high, and it's time for humanity to double down on the true people's media and strike back against the tyrants that are destroying our civilization with their lies and fraud. We are the resistance. You are the resistance. You are the info war. It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Join us at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Members can share their memberships with up to 11 people. By subscribing, you will literally be buying war bonds in the info war to expand our operation in the face of the tyrants. Join us at PrisonPlanet.tv.